Today we are going to be talking about advocating for the transient student and how important it is that we make those transient students feel welcome in our classroom. No matter where you teach or how you teach, most likely every person will come across a transient student at least one point in their career. And it's really important to be prepared because that student is going through a whirlwind of changes, and to have a teacher who is prepared and ready to go, that can make the world of a difference for a student. I read an article by the Mid-Atlantic Comprehensive Center, and they had some really great tips. Three main tips actually, how to help out our transient students. Planning in advance helps out. Making them feel welcome is a big one, and making the most of your time with them as a student is the third tip. The first tip they mentioned, planning in advance. Some things a teacher can do and that I plan on doing in my future classroom. Developing learning packets to kind of catch that student up if they're behind. These are just brief little things that the student can use to get to where all the rest of the students are at. Teachers also need to develop readily available assessment packets, you could say, to get a grasp of where the student is at with writing, reading, language proficiency, and that's just to shape future instruction. The teacher needs to identify personal information and get some sort of writing sample from the student, again, to shape instruction, and to plan kind of these packets for short-term study that the student can use, just kind of have on them at all times just to be studying and catching up and getting ahead. The second tip, making the student feel welcome, lots of ways to do that. First being a positive person and having a smiley face. Just that can make a student's day. As cheesy as it sounds, it'd be a good idea to create some sort of orientation video to tailor to that student so that they feel welcome and they have this thing created for them. It's also important to create files and other classroom supplies for that student as much as possible ahead of the game before the student gets there, because when the student does get there and they see their name on a file or their name on a desk, they already feel welcome. They feel like they're meant to be there. And it's really important to create a welcome packet for both students and families. Those welcome packets can outline procedures, classroom expectations, behavior, just an all-encompassing packet that the student and the family can have. The packet may need to be in another language. Again, everything should just be tailored to the student's need. The third point, making the most of your time with them as a student, can be tricky because most transient students move around a lot. So as a teacher, you should not anticipate them moving, but you should be prepared for it. And it's really important when they are your student just to make the most of your time with them, because you don't know how much time you're going to get. Also, it's really important to create incentive for attendance. It's really hard in middle school because a lot of middle schoolers can't control when they don't attend school. But if you, as a teacher, and I plan to do this, create an incentive for them to be there, it can be really powerful. That makes a student want to go to school, and that makes them want to stay at school, and sometimes that's out of their control. But as a teacher, we just need to do as much as we can to get that child at school, because again, everyone has the right to go to school, even if they move around a lot. So it's important, again, that when they are with us, we make the most of that time. We love on them. We don't make too many exceptions for them, but definitely provide some normalcy and structure in their ever-changing lives.